Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hersatility. I am your host, Danny Poso, and today I'm sitting with a super special guest, the powerhouse behind Pretty Fit Academy, someone who's built a loyal community of over thousands of women, not just as a fitness trainer, but going way beyond the fitness. I've seen firsthand how she builds these women's confidence, aids in their mental health, and beyond. And that's just one of her many roles. Jiyan, welcome to Hersatility.
Hi, guys.
We would be here all day if I was just listing everything that you are and embody.
I really
But
appreciate that.
welcome to the podcast. I'm so
you.
happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Who is Jiyan outside of what she does for work?
I am a motivator to all. So not just like my community of women that I train. I'm an amazing sister. I'm an amazing daughter. I am a poet. I love writing poetry. I'm a poet.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah, I've been writing poetry since I was like 12 years old. Yeah.
Jiyan, I did not know that.
A lot of people don't. I don't really share. That's a part of me that I've kind of kept to myself because like poetry is like my deep thoughts, and I'm not ready for the world to
Vulnerable.
like
Very
hear that. Yeah,
vulnerable.
very, very, very vulnerable place. I'm very goofy, very
You are.
goofy. I love to have fun. I'm such a child at heart, and yeah, I'm all those things.
I love it. I know that we enter and exit so many different seasons of life consistently, especially if you're like you and I, where we're like constantly just doing the work on ourselves, healing, evolving, all the things. So if you could describe this stage and season of your life in one word, what would that word be?
Content.
Oh,
hmm
I like that. That's
It's funny because someone asked me that yesterday. They said, if you would describe your season in an emoji, what would it be? I said the blush face. Because I'm just like, I'm in such a good place where I feel like everything around me is healthy. There's a lot of depth in my life, and it's something that I've always craved for. None of my relationships are forced. They're all like intentional relationships where every day, every conversation, every encounter, every experience that I have is like, it comes with like depth and some form of knowledge or wisdom that I can kind of like take from that experience. And I haven't had that in a while. So these past couple months has definitely been that for me.
And I think that's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to you. I don't think that just comes about. I think that it's something that you're embodying in this season of life. What do you think that is per se, or how have you gotten here to this Jiyan?
I definitely would have to say it's in my intentionality. I've been very intentional about my conversations, the type of people that I've been hanging out with, the relationships that I'm watering, the relationships that I'm building, whether it's new relationships or the relationships that I have in my life right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is boundaries a part of that?
Boundaries is a huge part of that. It doesn't always have to be like very strict boundaries where I'm like cutting somebody off, but it's boundaries with myself where I'm choosing the conversations that I'm having, and I'm choosing the places that I'm going to and the people that I want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like self-love is a part of that too, because I think the more that you start to love yourself, the more you're kind of like, I don't want to say like I'm above this, but
Yeah.
like this isn't serving me. The word that's coming to mind is like fruitful.
Yeah.
By this conversation, or by gossip, or by
Yeah.
these people, or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. Do you feel like that's been a part of it?
No, a huge part of it. And so right now, Stephen Furtick's series is talking about same lies, same loops, or something like that. It's about loops and patterns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's something that's kind of playing a big role in my life right now, is that if I want to continue to repeat the same loops, I'm going to repeat the same patterns. So in order for me to change what the outcome is going to be like, I have to change the patterns and the loops that I keep putting myself in. So I know that one of them, I think about like, if I want my life to feel a certain kind of way and to look a certain kind of way and be a certain kind of way, then I have to make the necessary changes to make sure that I'm not repeating the patterns and the loops, so the outcome looks completely different. So the outcome right now looks the way that I wanted it to look a couple of months ago, when I promised myself that I don't want to repeat these patterns and loops because I want my life to look a certain kind of way, because the desires of my heart look like this. And so in order for it to look like this, then I would have to, the daily actions, the intentional,
Habits.
habits that I would have to create in my day-to-day life.
And that intentionality is way easier said than done.
Yeah, it is.
Like, because at the end of the day, we get comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the comfort is the easier option.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10. So it's like, I feel like stepping out of your comfort zone is the only way to grow.
Yeah.
And that intentionality requires action.
Yeah,
and that
for sure.
action is not always super easy to
No,
do.
it's not.
I love that.
Yeah.
Your childhood is very far from the average childhood story. So I definitely want to start there and talk about a little bit of your childhood journey and some of the ways that it's shaped who you are today, good and bad.
Yeah, no, for sure. So a lot of people may or may not know I've spoken about this a lot on my story, but I haven't gone really in depth about it. So my family escaped a war in Iraq when I was the age of 2. It was one of those situations where someone came into the village and told my mom, "Hey, they're coming, your way towards your village. You might want to pack the kids up, pack the family up, and get going." So it was at that time. It was 4 of us. Yeah, it was 4. It was 4 of us. No, I'm sorry. It was 5 of us at that time. I was 2 years old, and she had just had my brother, who was 2 days old. So she literally had to carry all of us. So it was a 5-day journey where we had to tuck away during the daytime, so the airplanes that were dropping mustard gas wouldn't see us, and then we would start walking, during the nighttime, where they couldn't see us. Got to Turkey, lived in a refugee camp where they placed us in for 4 years, where all they gave us was like a loaf of bread and maybe a carton of eggs for the entire month, and you had to figure the rest out. And so
You were in that for 4 years?
yeah, I don't remember too much. And I always think, and through therapy, I believe that it was maybe trauma that kind of like, I don't know, made me forget and like,
I was going to ask that because in general, it's hard to remember those years of your life.
yeah.
But also, if you do sometimes, because of trauma, you can forget. But because of trauma, sometimes things stand out too.
Yeah.
Like certain things you'll kind of hold in your memory. Like, do you have any recollection?
No,
of any of that?
I literally I can't remember anything. My mom said I lost my hair at the age of 2 when I guess I drank contaminated water and I got really, really sick and I lost all my hair. Like, I literally do not remember anything at all. Like, I barely remember my journey to the US.
And what a strong
Yeah,
mother,
I know.
too.
Even during therapy, which we've tried to bring it up, but it doesn't come up. But I think it's maybe there's like a lot of sorrow and sadness, I will say, but I don't know if that's from that or from like my entire life of living in chaos and discomfort.
So you're in Turkey, where you just described for like 4 years. Then what?
And then my dad signed us up for the lottery ticket. So our name got picked, and they not imported. Is it imported?
I don't know.
Like-
Wait, what lottery ticket? Explain that.
Yeah,
That's
so it's a lottery ticket. Supposedly there's a lottery ticket that immigrants and refugees can sign up for. Yeah. And our family's name got picked, and they brought us to the US, to Nashville. Yeah, and placed us in some rundown, I would say Section 8 apartments with no furniture at all. Just like a mattress and 2 bedrooms for 9 people. And the churches sponsored food and clothes and provided jobs for the men that were probably paying like $2 an hour at that time. Yeah, very much survival
This
mode.
is insane,
Yeah.
Jiyan. And then, like, okay, from there,
Yeah.
how does your childhood continue to develop? Like, what happens next? You grow up in Nashville?
Grew up in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, I always say, like, grew up with 2 broken parents that were unhealed themselves because they were in survival themselves. They had to pick up and leave their comfort, leave their home, leave their parents,
I
leave
mean,
their
when
brothers
when
and
you said that
sisters.
about your mom, that she had just had
A 2-day-old.
newborn and had 5 kids
Yeah.
and picked up and did all of that, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I
Jiyan.
know.
I mean, that is a strong woman.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
I can't imagine what she had to carry
Yeah.
throughout those years as
And
well.
still had to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think seeing that growing up, seeing 2 parents who, now looking back, right? I didn't know that that's what was going on then, but now looking back, it's like, wow, like all I saw was a woman struggling, emotionally, mentally, you know, not knowing how to really show up for herself, like because she
And
had
she's
to,
probably doing her
she was
best.
pouring, yeah, doing her very best and trying to take care of 7 kids and a husband,
7.
7 kids. So yeah, so then my sister Vian was conceived in Turkey and born in Turkey. And then when we came then she got pregnant again before we came here. And then she had my youngest brother in 92 when we got here.
Okay, so you're in this country, you're in Nashville. You're how old now?
6.
6. You don't know the language. I assume your parents also don't know the language.
No.
You go throughout life, you all the way to what, high school in Nashville?
High school and college.
In Nashville?
Mhm.
And what were some of, like, I guess on a high level when you first got here, from what you remember, some
Yeah.
of the struggles then, and then some of what you faced maybe as you did learn the language, for example, did adapt to America and American culture
Yeah. Um, I kind of had to like fend for myself
as a child?
as a child. I mean, my mom was too busy raising 7 kids, so no one really got that one-on-one attention.
Yeah.
So we kind of did school on our own. Like there was no coming back from school and you got homework and your parents are helping you. Everything you had to figure out on your own, including paperwork, first day of school paperwork, we had to figure that out on our own and sign their name on paperwork.
Translate,
Yeah, this
do
is
all the
an
things.
immigrant child. Like this is how it is. Even doctor's appointments having to you know, translate for them when we barely know what we're talking about
Yeah.
ourselves.
You have
Yeah.
to grow up
So I feel like I really never really had a childhood. I don't know what it felt like to be a child because we had to grow up fast.
I think that's a part of why you're so silly now, too. I think it's that like,
Well, I think I was always goofy.
Yeah?
I think my goofiness was part of like, you know how they say when you're hurting, like sometimes
Yeah.
laughter and your goofiness is like your way of like making things lighter. I've always been a goofy child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still found some like happiness in those
Yeah, I think
moments.
so. I think that was my way of like not wanting to feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back, what are some of the ways that growing up the way that you did has shaped you both good and bad?
Mm. So at the beginning of my journey, I'm going to talk about before my healing and after my healing, what it's done for me. It definitely, the beautiful thing that it did create and that did come out of it is my resilience. That's like my number one superpower. Like no matter what, you're never going to see me down for too long. If anything, it'll be like a day or two or a week, but like I'm right back up again. My resilience is number one. At the beginning of my journey, before my healing journey, it made me really tough, but not tough in a way where like it was like strength within or courage. It was more so like the world was after me and I have
Defense mechanism.
very defensive to everything and everyone and to my own journey. I'm like, no, I got to get it. I got to do this. I got to do that. Like I had to like make something happen for myself. Cause if not, then who else, Whereas like now it's like, no, we're there. We're
Like
calm.
that hyper independence.
Very much hyper independent. Like I wanted to be, that boss girl. Like, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to reach the next level, the next level, the next level. I didn't know what it looked like not to like reach the next level. Like I was always striving for more, and because I was chasing, I don't know what, I was chasing maybe value, maybe worth, maybe love, maybe I'm not sure, but I was chasing to feel some sense of like worthiness and control. I'll say that because I felt like I had no control.
And then I know that, well, we'll get into your healing because I feel like that's been a beautiful journey that I've like witnessed you kind of work on and go through. But as far as your parents, what's your relationship with your parents like? Because that's a lot to go through. And like you said, they have
Yeah.
7
Yeah.
or 8, 7 of you
7
guys?
kids.
Yeah.
7 kids. It's funny because I had a moment last weekend where this is gonna sound so deep and so raw and real, but like it's how I was feeling.
It's okay.
Lord.
If you feel it, the chances are that you're not alone. You're not the only one who's felt that way.
Yeah. I just felt like it was two people who raised me, and that was it.
What do you mean?
Like foster parents, you know?
Like there wasn't, do you mean by that like there
There was
wasn't
no deep relationship. They just, my dad was a provider. My mom,
like make sure you were fed?
I was fed. We were fed. And my mom made sure that, you know, we were taken care of. We were, you know, she gave us a bath. We were clean. Like, you know,
The
we were
essentials.
safe. The essentials, and that was it. So there was a point where things got really tough because I decided to leave home. And, you know, a Middle Eastern girl doesn't leave home until she's married. But we decided to leave home and had the courage to leave because a lot of girls don't leave. They end up being stuck in a cycle of like, you know, living in chaos and not knowing how to leave and get out of it. And we decided that there was more for us, my sisters and I, when I say we, and we had enough courage and balls to like leave home to go build a life for ourselves. Although it was tough at the beginning and we got disowned when we moved to Atlanta, because our choices, they didn't agree with our choices,
Yeah.
our choices of wanting to leave and build a life for ourselves, which they had their reason why, right? And now looking back, I'm like, oh, I get it.
What were
Because,
their reasons?
I'm going to assume their reasons, right? Again, through my healing journey, I had to come to a place where I had to accept and be okay that my parents will not be the type of parents that will understand my life and why I made the choices that I made for myself. And that they're just not going to accept me or support me in the ways that I would love for them to, you know?
That's hard.
Yeah, it was really hard at the beginning. When my therapist said, I'm going to tell you something and I need you to like really take this in. She's like, your parents will not love you or support you the way that you want them to. I cried. I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
Your parents.
because you yearn for that. Yeah, you yearn for that. You want that. Who doesn't want that from their own parents? But when I accepted that, it definitely, it helped me to create a detachment, an unhealthy attachment that I had for my parents because they created that attachment.
And for their approval, probably. That is really tough, I feel like, but also a big, almost like stepping stone into a part of your healing to recognize like I can love them and still accept that our values may not align,
Yeah.
you know? So you left with your sisters and you left to become or pursue a career as a trainer, right? And I think you've told me before that that was kind of controversial as well, in
Yeah.
addition to like
Yeah.
leaving, like
Yeah.
being a trainer or
Yeah, an
something along
entrepreneur
those
just
lines.
in general.
Yeah. Speak a little bit about that. Like, what are the cultural traditions around that your parents believe, and were they super just not supportive off the gate? Was it like what was the turmoil there at that time?
What they want for Kurdish girls is to be married and have kids. Like that,
Traditional.
very traditional. Like that is their normal. If you get a career, great. But like their thing is like your husband provides and protects and takes care of you. Like you don't really need a career. Like a career driven woman is not like normal. It wasn't normal, right? Now it's a lot more normal, and which I love to see that. But especially someone who is in the fitness industry where, you know, I was bodybuilding. I'm on stages doing bikini competitions. I'm in the gym showing my body off, whether it's my arms, my legs, or whatever. That definitely wasn't, you know, I wouldn't say that it wasn't, they weren't accepting of it. They just didn't know how to navigate that because they didn't know what it looked like. They didn't have any other child or anyone else that they knew of that was pursuing, you know, fitness.
How has your relationship with your mom and dad kind of evolved throughout the years since you left, and where is it at now?
Yeah. I guess the dynamic has changed because of me, because of my healing journey. Because I've gotten to a place where like they haven't changed, right? They haven't changed, but I've changed.
Yeah.
So the way that I, you know, approach differences, arguments, you know, whatever triggers they may bring on to me when I'm back home, I don't react. I kind of respond accordingly in a sense of like, oh, they don't mean that, or they're not doing that to hurt me. That this is not personal. So the dynamic has changed because I've changed. So the relationship, I love my parents for who they are, and I look at the beautiful parts about them and the things that, like, I look at the good in them. I'm not
Yeah.
looking at the things that they lack. I'm looking at what they do provide and what they do carry. That is, my dad is an amazing man. My mom's a beautiful, amazing woman. I'm sure if she had the opportunity to heal herself, she would be phenomenal. She wanted to be an architect. She never got a chance to like really pursue, her life, her dreams, and her career. So yeah, the relationship has changed because I've changed.
That's so beautiful and really just speaks to like, I know we're in an era of like, all these buzzwords being thrown around and mental health kind of just being this like almost trend,
Yeah.
but on the bright side of it, like it's important. And I think what you just said is a testament to really doing the work and going through therapy and focusing on healing and prioritizing it, because and it's not even just in a parental relationship. This could work in friendships, romantic relationships. I feel like once you do that work to heal, like you're not triggered as
Yeah.
easily, right? And then B, it's so beautiful how you're able to see. It reminded me of a quote, and I'm gonna butcher this. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's something along the lines of people don't see you. I'm gonna have to look it up. It's something like people don't see you for who you are, they see you as they are. Something like, basically like their people's lens.
Their projection.
Kind of like, do you guys know what quote I'm talking about?
It's about projection, though.
Kind of.
Yeah.
If people don't see you as you are, they see you as they are. I haven't looked.
Something like that. And it's basically saying like, how you see me says more about you than it does me.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And I think that because you've healed, like you are now able to see the best side of them, which I think is like a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
What now you guys are in a better space, like you said, because of you.
Yeah, acceptance.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever spoken to them or maybe your mom like about therapy, and has that been a topic you guys
Yeah.
discussed at all, or maybe like are they open to it?
They don't know what therapy is. It's not.
But you're like a perfect.
Yeah, but I don't think that they would understand. I don't think they have the capacity, like the mental or emotional capacity to really like take anything on like that. I don't think they even know what that looks like. So I don't think they're in a place in their life. I think they think that they're so far beyond and like so far gone that like and not even just that. I don't think they even know that they like there's something wrong. That they're like,
Do you think
And-
they're happy?
oh, they're definitely not happy. They're very unhappy. Yeah, very unhappy. My siblings and I talk about that all the time, and we can never tell them that they're doing wrong. We can never tell them that, these are some things that you guys are doing that's like really bleeding on the family. We can never tell them that because I think that one, it would really hurt them, and they would be in denial. So we don't want to hurt them because we already know that they already carry so much pain
Yeah.
that I think unpacking anything would really like, take
would be
them
very
over the edge.
That's a lot for them to
Yeah.
carry too.
Yeah.
A lot of years of a lot of trauma and kids and
Therapy sounds great. I mean, that would be amazing. Like, I wish they would. I would love to have a healed mother and father, to have like an amazing, very,
healthy
bond.
dynamic.
Yeah. Motherly and fatherly bond.
What about your siblings? There's so many of you guys. A few questions like, are they kind of as evolved as you and come as far as like you have mentally and with healing? Do they do therapy? What is you guys' dynamic kind of like? And I think ultimately, is their experience when you talk to them about it similar or different than yours when you guys reflect on your childhood?
When we reflect on our childhood, our experiences are almost the same.
Okay.
In a sense of like growing up with parents who were very, they deflected a lot. They were very avoidant. there was a lot of like, they were very dismissive. There was a lot of like stonewalling. Again, I didn't know all this was happening until, again, my therapy, like a lot of silent treatment, um, a lot of emotional and mental abuse more than anything else. Our experience is very much the same. When it comes to therapy and healing, my older brothers, I feel like their healing kind of happened when they started building their own family and kind of creating their own environment and, raising children. And I think that, I can't tell you what that looks like, but I can only imagine raising a child, what it brings out of you as a parent. And I'm sure they knew how they grew up with, our parents and what they wanted instead, and doing the opposite of what they grew up with.
And that is going to be something for you. If or when, if you want kids, when you
I
have
can't
them,
wait.
when you become a mother, that's going to be a whole, I think, new chapter of the same process and the same healing, because it does bring up it brings up a lot of how you were raised, because you now are raising someone, and the love you feel for that child, you're like, I can't imagine, ever acting this way or doing this to them or not doing this for them.
I'm sure more healing's gonna come
For sure.
from that
In
alone.
a beautiful way.
Yeah.
But okay, keep going. You were saying something about your
Yeah.
siblings.
So my two older brothers, I feel like that was kind of their thing. I don't I don't see them getting therapy again. One, it's a time. It's raising kids, like way too busy, things like that. But I don't really think they know what therapy like comes with, and what that even looks like. That's my brothers, and then my sisters and I. I don't want to say that I started it, but like fitness was like my thing. And then when, I started healing and reading books, very much a podcast girl, on self-help. Like I was a self-help junkie. And then I would like share my podcast with them, or like, share a book with them or anything like that. We're kind of on a similar journey where we're all three healing in our own ways, but we're all three healing. And we did not grow up with the best relationship. My mom did not do the best job at keeping us close. If anything, she didn't know, but a lot of the actions that she was taking, or a lot of her behaviors, kind of like created resentment and friction amongst
Between
one
you
another,
guys.
my sisters and I. So we felt like enemies more than more than sisters and best friends, like most sisters would, because my mom would do something like, ask me to wash the dishes, or like she would ask my younger sister to wash the dishes, and if my sister refused, then she would complain about her to me, and then now I have to wash the dishes because she didn't do them, and now I'm carrying resentment towards her. And it was like, but my mom would do a lot of like petty little things where she would like talk bad about the next sister to another sister, and then that creates resentment and friction.
Yeah.
And then my two younger brothers, they did not. They actually had a very rough journey the past couple of years of falling into drug abuse that almost took their life away last year or the year before. And that's been like a huge pandemic in the Kurdish culture, because because of where I am today and the healing journey that I'm on, and how far I've come and overcome, with my journey being a Kurdish girl, and leaving Iraq, being a refugee, etc. I think that was their coping mechanism, is going to drugs, and that's been like a huge fight in the Kurdish community, that the boys have. If every other month we have an overdose and someone has passed away from a family that's in our community, because again, therapy, they don't know anything about therapy. That's been their escape.
Are you close with them?
Yeah, there's been 3 close family friends that pretty much, like my best friend's brother passed away.
No, I'm sorry. Are you close to your little brother?
Oh, yes. No, I am.
So how do you, that is a whole other topic on its own, like dealing with a loved one struggling with drug abuse. How do you navigate that?
It was hard. I had to teach my parents how to be there for my brothers during this, because I think again, foreign parents coming to the US not knowing like what is going on. Why are you taking drugs? Like, why are you doing these things? And I had to explain to them, like, it's not a choice that they're just making because they want to do this. They're doing this because they're suppressing. They're going through this. They're going through that. There's things that they're going through that you guys have no idea about. So instead of condemning them or, putting them down, show them some love and care. And this is what it looks like to show them love and care. So there was a lot of like teaching my parents how to be there for my brothers during this time because they didn't know how to they did the opposite of that. They think that yelling at them and condemning them will change them.
Are they in a good place now, or is that
So
something
much
you
better.
still show?
Like
Okay.
we're honestly thank God, it's a blessing that they did not pass from the overdose that they both went through. Like it was really, really bad for our family because every other son from each family has passed away. And
Wow.
like my brothers are the only two that did not.
And what helped overcome that? Like, how did they get to the other side?
Family support.
That's amazing. That's amazing,
Yeah.
especially given.
Not saying that the other families didn't have the
No,
support
of
that they
course.
did, but I think just the love and the support. And then I think that was the last straw for my brothers where it really gave them that scare. Where it's like, all right, this is it. And then my youngest brother's wife ended up being pregnant the next month. So I think that kind of shifted him in general, just
Yeah.
now have a wife who's pregnant.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And I think that you and your sisters, just from, knowing you guys and seeing you guys' dynamic, have come a really, really long way. And speaking of coping mechanisms, I know now you speak about your fitness journey and how that is one of your coping mechanisms, which is what we could all hope for, as it's one of the healthiest. But before that, I know you're also really open about your weight loss journey and
Yeah.
how you used to be a lot heavier, and how that, I think, was a
Yeah.
coping mechanism for you
For sure.
beforehand.
Yeah, I didn't know it then. I just thought I was a teenager that was just, eating junk food. But that coping mechanism of, going to food for comfort, led to me gaining all this weight and being overweight as a teenager, 15, 16 years old, weighing 195 pounds, wearing a size 16, 17. So here I am as a teenager, shopping in plus size, and while other teenagers are shopping in, juniors.
Yeah.
It was definitely a very tough journey. I got to a point where I was uncomfortable in my own body. Enough was enough. It was one of those where I was tired of being tired of the things that I was struggling through. So I asked my dad to get me a membership at YMCA. Yeah, started doing step classes. He would drop me off at 16 years old. I would go and do the step classes. And I think I started, it was the feeling after the workout that I now talk about often. Is it's like you just got to get there and you'll feel good afterwards. You just got to get there. So I just felt good. It was an escape for me. Going there was it was an escape. I hated being at home because it was always a yelling or some fight in the house. I just felt like it was always a cloud over my head, like darkness.
So honestly, kind of from the way I see it, and I always feel like anything hard that we go through, not only shapes us, but it kind of leads to something good. It seems like you being overweight and you struggling with that and spiraling maybe into that, finally making that decision, that's what led to your real, what would I call? I don't want to say your real coping mechanism, but your
Yeah.
real outlet. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And the one that God ordained for you that
Yeah,
led
for
to
sure.
now your
Yeah.
God-given purpose.
Yeah,
You had to go through that,
yeah,
be overweight, do
Yeah.
those things,
yeah.
leading you now to fitness, and which is what you do now for a living. How do you feel like everything you went through that we've talked about thus far has shaped you as now a trainer
Yeah.
and being in the fitness world?
Yeah. As much as I don't want to say hate, but who would not want to say their story, the story of their life has been a beautiful one, right? But I think growing up in chaos and fight or flight and survival built this resilience and this strength and this courage. and then my coping mechanism being fitness. So like combining what I went through in life and also with my weight loss journey, it kind of like the way that I approach fitness and the way that I approach my business with Pretty Fit Academy and just in general, like being in my industry, I approach it a lot different than a lot of people do because I bring healing in,
Mhm.
I bring confidence in, I bring in, like, there's a quote that I always say to them is, um, visualize your highest self and start showing up as her because we all have her inside of us. We all have this version of ourselves that we want to become. Sometimes we think that she's not accessible, but she is accessible because she's
Yeah.
already in you. You just have to start walking towards her. And that means that taking the daily actions and doing what's necessary to start building. It's like building blocks towards that version of yourself.
Who is the best version of Jiyan? What do you envision when you do this for yourself?
What does the best version of myself
Yeah.
look like? She's a confident girl. She's a confident girl. She's a healed girl. She's a very passionate, loving, kind, considerate, grounded, patient more than anything. She has this way about her that makes everyone feel comfortable to just like come to her for advice or a hug. She is unapologetically herself. Because there was a point in my life where I was afraid to be me because I didn't know who I was fully. She loves unconditionally. She is loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a beautiful testament to literally like taking the lemons that life gave you and making a bomb ass lemonade. Like everything that
splash
you've
of
been through,
tequila.
everything, period. Everything you just said is like everything that you probably yearned for.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? All your
Yeah.
life.
Mhm.
Everything that you wanted. And some people can take those experiences and be cold or use them
Yeah.
as excuses to be narcissists or be
Yeah.
this or be that or just a-holes.
Yeah.
But you truly had taken it and you project the opposite. Like you project what that void was for you,
Yeah.
you provide for other people.
Yeah.
And I think that is a part of it's so funny how God works because
Yeah.
you really are living out your purpose. I think that
Yeah.
is a part of Pretty Fit Academy and your profession as a trainer. And I think that's what makes Pretty Fit Academy really stand out. And I
Yeah.
mentioned it when I introduced you. It's like
Yeah.
you are one of the fitness professionals I have seen that really goes beyond the gym
Yeah.
and really places an emphasis on these girls' mental health. So speak a little bit about because we're gonna get you some more clients. Like if you are not a part of Pretty Fit Academy, you are missing out. But you
Yeah.
really do create this community, which we'll also get into,
Yeah.
like kind of how you did that. But
Yeah.
speak a little bit about what Pretty Fit Academy is and what that means for you.
So I'll kind of say this. When I first started Pretty Fit Academy, again, remember, it started as my outlet. And I never sought out to be a personal trainer. It really happened because I was sharing my journey, but I was like real and raw and transparent when I was sharing my journey about being in the gym, the things that I was going through, how I was overcoming them. So I was motivating the mass without even really knowing what was to come in the future. So with it being my outlet and it turned into my career at the beginning of building Pretty Fit Academy, it was really tough for me because now my outlet has become my job. And so now my escape is my work, which made it really hard for me to find an escape because my escape is my work now. So what I did was, again, at the very beginning, it was really tough because I'm like, I don't even love fitness. I'm like, I love fitness when I go in the gym. I don't love fitness. I don't love creating workouts and, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't love building bodies. That's not what I love. So it was really tough at the beginning for me because I'm like, that's not what I love. So what I did was in my sessions, I would just have deep conversations with my girls. I would just like motivate and inspire them to be the best version of themselves. I would bring God in and I would even have some like, oh, like, here they were thinking they were coming in for a workout session and they're leaving out
It's
of
a
there.
therapy session,
It's a
and the
therapy
workouts
session.
are the cherry on top. Those are just
Yes,
the plus.
exactly. So that's what I did. I ended up shifting the entire, I guess, the way that I approached my business and how I wanted to build onto that. It's healing, confidence, you know, building self-esteem, self-worth, all of that. And then fitness is just like the body that you get out of this is it's a bonus
Yeah.
to everything else that we're really building. You don't know it's happening. You kind of almost have to experience it in my coaching. It happens in your sessions.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you're still able to do that in group settings as well, right? Not just like one-on-one.
Yeah. Because I do a lot of one-on-ones outside of my small group settings. So there's intimate conversations that I'm having with my clients. And also the two ladies that work for me on the back end of the business, they're also very aligned with my purpose.
I love that.
Because they're also
blessing.
they're also women of God and women who are, you know, it's beyond fitness for them as well.
Yeah.
So it was perfect because they're also pouring into my women outside of just myself.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think building a community is essential almost for building a successful brand, not just a business, but like a loyal following. I feel like it's something you have built. And I don't think that's super easy. Speak a little bit about how that started and how you feel like you've taken off now to have a platform where you're able to share, you know, these ideas, these tips, this raw like vulnerability and journey of yours with so many women.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's being authentic, and it's authentic, and it's not something that I just, you know, I know it's thrown out there when you're authentic and you're transparent, etc. But it's the feedback that I get when I am authentic and when I am transparent, when I am raw and real. How much feedback I get from women saying, "Oh my God, I needed that," so that like helps me to continue to be more authentic and more raw and real. So it's just showing up as myself.
And being consistent about it.
Very, very much consistent. Because I know that people are only going to trust you when they see that consistency.
Yeah.
So there's not a like I'm pretending to be this girl. It's like, no, this is who I really am. So making sure that I'm consistently doing that, you know, behind the cameras also helps me show up better online.
How long did it kind of take you to build this business and community?
Like I would say a solid community, I would say a couple of years, at least 10 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's important for people to know too.
Yeah,
Because we see like the outcome of things, but we don't really know like
And I think it's important to like share your journey throughout your journey. I think that's another thing.
God, I think it's so funny how God will literally come, like things he will be telling me, I'll get on an episode of Hersatility and he'll speak through who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Like, I told you, like, yes,
Yeah.
that was me. And yes, that's what I said. Because
Yeah.
that is a very vulnerable act
Yeah.
to share. Like, it's easy to share once you've made it. It's easy to share the win. It's easy to share once you've accomplished it. But I have felt called sometimes to like, well, share the journey too. Share while you're at it. And sometimes I just feel like people don't really care about your story until you've made it.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
sharing a part of your journey
Yeah.
isn't the easiest
Yeah.
while you're in the midst of it.
Yeah. I think if you try to pretend or put on, that's only going to last so long.
Yeah.
I feel like when you truly build a solid foundation when it comes to like truly being who you are, people are going to be able to like see through that. So I think that it's important to share it all because you're literally carrying them with you through the journey. So the relationship and the connection is only deeper because they're like, I'll literally have some followers of mine that are like, oh my God, I remember when this. I'm like, wow, you've been here since then.
And
Like
that's a
I can
beautiful
only
thing.
imagine how you see me now. I'm sure you're like,
My views look better in these selfies, my
Right,
mirror
yeah.
pictures have evolved.
yeah, or the way that I'm, speaking online, the way that I'm showing up, you've been there since
You're
the
right.
beginning. And if I didn't share and I wasn't vulnerable like that, the connection wouldn't be as strong.
You're right. And I think it's a consistency thing for sure. It's like having the courage to put yourself out there when you're not where you want to be yet and just do the thing, just start it. I say that all the time. And also being consistent because I do see like podcasts, for example, or influencers or whatever the case may be, where you literally grow with them. You
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
the apartment they used to be in, and
Yeah.
then, you know, how they've evolved, or what their podcast setup used to be
Yeah.
like and what it is now, or the car they used to drive,
Yeah.
and what, you know, and these are
Mhm.
all like kind of tangible things
Yeah.
that it goes way, way deeper than that, but it is, you only see, you know, high level when you're
Yeah.
an audience,
Mhm.
for the most part. So I think it is an important thing and a beautiful thing to kind of like share where you're at in the journey, and
Yeah.
refreshing to know that that's a part of the way that you built
Yeah.
this community,
Yeah.
this loyal community that you have. That's so
Mhm.
special. Um,
Showing every part of me and loving every part of the
yeah,
journey.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, well, okay, you just said something. Do you feel like while you were in the journey, you loved every part of the journey? Like you were present and
I
kind of
found
soaked it in?
moments to be present, and I
Okay.
found moments to kind of like be in the moment
Mm,
and to not rush for the next thing and to just kind of like enjoy what I am building. So I would
yeah,
find things that I can enjoy while I'm building.
that's
Mhm.
important too. And I feel like it speaks to gratitude
Yeah.
and helps you keep
That's a
going.
huge thing that keeps me like grounded and balanced is always finding gratitude in
Yeah.
everything.
I feel like as a child and like what you've expressed, or what you've shared more so on your childhood, you kind of having to grow up fast, right? And be super independent. That creates a certain personality type sometimes. And you have to be hard, you have to be strong, you have to be
Mhm.
these things. You now give off also a very like soft era, a loving era. You're also a trainer where
Yeah.
sometimes there's a stigma where you have to
Yeah.
not only to be a successful woman, but like also a trainer per se,
Yeah.
you would think you have to be this like hard,
Yeah.
strong person. How do you navigate those two things? And how do you, m- I guess, make sure you stay authentic to who you are?
Yeah. It's funny you asked that question because some of my clients that have been with me for like years, when we have like monthly coaching calls, I do monthly coaching calls with my girls where we talk about our goals and, you know, you know, different obstacles they're having throughout their journey. But some of my OG clients will say like, y'all are getting, you know, a gentle coaching,
Wow.
Jay. Like, so what I said to them and I also realized is that they get a version of me based on where I am in my journey, in my healing journey. So they're getting a softer version of me and like a soft coach because I'm softer with myself. I'm
Mm,
more kind with myself. I'm not as hard. So I think at the beginning of my journey when I was personal training, it was a lot of like, no, you got this, like, you
mhm.
know, crush it. Like the
Yeah.
heavier the weight, the better. The harder you go, the better. Like, you know, go hard or go home. That's not my concept anymore. Now I'm like, it's funny because it was go hard, go home at the beginning. Now I'm very much like, you know, do your very best, whatever your best looks like today. If you can only do 3 rounds instead of 4, I'm okay with that. If you only get 2 rounds in, I'm okay with that. Do you feel good about it? They're like, yeah, I'm like, okay, if you feel good about it, then I feel good about it.
I love that.
You know, a couple of years ago, I would have been like, no, you're not leaving until you get 4 rounds in. So like I'm different. So my coaching is different.
Do you think to be like super successful or to achieve those type of goals, whether they be fitness goals or career goals, you have to have a little bit of that grit, maybe not grit, but like that hard
Mhm.
personality style?
I think you do, but I think it has to look different, right? And I'm gonna kind of tap into a little bit of like feminine and masculine energy, right? So I can have masculine energy in my career, but my masculine energy could look like, you know, delegating and controlling, or like, you know, or like not organizing. Maybe organizing is more feminine. I don't know, but it's like it's running a team, like running a business. Like I can be masculine in those areas in a sense of like the energy that I bring, but like the way that I approach it could look a little bit different, or the way I approach it could be masculine, but the energy around it could be more feminine.
Do you feel like you've had to switch from one to another, or do you feel like as you've healed, you've kind of just transitioned naturally?
I've transitioned naturally. It just kind of like became me because I let the guards down and I, you know, put the shield down and the swords, like whatever else I was holding up to defend myself. Now it's like I feel safe within myself where I'm not afraid of the world. Like there's nothing that can hurt me because I'm safe within. A lot of women, I will say this, and this is my journey, and I'm assuming that a lot of women in, that grew up very similar backgrounds, that had a tough background where they had to like show up for themselves and defend themselves, etc. They built a masculine, they built masculine energy
Yeah.
because they thought that that was the only way to survive and get through,
Yeah.
right? And that was me at the beginning. Like I was called alpha so much, but deep within, I'm like, no, I'm a sensitive girl. Like, I'm all these things. It's like, I'm not alpha, but like, I thought that I had to be alpha. I had to be like strong, and I had to show up a certain kind of way to be respected, to be able to like be known as, a boss. And I think, again, my healing journey led me to a place where I noticed that like I was still able to build my business. I'm growing. I'm surpassing everything that my mind like thought like, I had to be
You
this
needed
way.
to be.
Yeah. And I'm in my femininity. Like I'm gentle, I'm kind. I'm literally a gentle coach with my clients.
Yeah.
Like,
So let me ask you this. Do you think had you healed, let's say early on, right? Earlier in your journey, you would still be where you are today had you
No.
approached
No.
entrepreneurship, training, all of these things with this new soft energy and feminine energy?
No,
So do you-
definitely not. I definitely needed that raw, energy to build, because I was like, I was in fight or flight and survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you're like, I gotta get it. I gotta get it. So that energy definitely built PFA at the beginning. But now that I've been here, it's like, all right, I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I've just kind of been like juggling and like having internal dialogue is like this whole hustle culture versus soft life.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's maybe just, and this is, I guess, even a question, like, is it you have to have hustle culture to get to the soft life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what does that look like even in relationships? Because
Yeah.
to your point, I think it's an immigrant parent thing as well.
Yeah.
Like we have embedded in us like that mentality. How and when can we switch that off? Because I feel like I've come to the realization that as women, we all kind of want to tap into our feminine energy and, feel safe. And I think that once we are in a safe space, it naturally comes out of us.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know, I can go down a whole rabbit hole, but I think it's just, like I said, an internal dialogue of like,
Is that something you question in your life, in a sense of like how you can be more gentle or feminine, or like, and also be a boss?
maybe,
Or like, do you struggle with like trying to balance both out?
maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I think maybe it also has come with how my values have shifted.
Yeah.
So maybe before, because of, again, this mentality we grew up with, like wanting to just be the best and have this and have that and be successful and be all the things. And then now switching my definition of success to more geared towards like things like peace,
Yeah.
things like spending time with my daughter,
Yeah.
having that time to literally spend with her. That's rich,
Yeah.
And that kind of slowly but surely shifting, I guess, me from that energy to a more soft energy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
But your femininity carries so much power.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful place to be, where like the being in the space of thinking that hustle culture will create these beautiful things for you, being in your femininity is also powerful and can create so many things for you as well.
I agree. And I actually, ironically enough, I feel like hustle culture created this wave of soft life because
We all got
everyone's burnt
tired.
out. Yes, we're all burnt out and we're all like, this ain't it. This can't be it.
But I think we've also seen some who have come before us, and that has shown us like, oh, okay, like you can still be feminine and create all these beautiful things. Like, it's possible. So I think that's what's it. We've seen examples of it.
Yeah.
For me personally, I've seen
Really?
examples.
I think sometimes that's something I still, I guess, toy with, like, when it does come to, let's say, career success, because again, I've kind of shifted the way I define overall success, but when it comes to career success, do I have to have that like hard mentality and like, shift off of my feminine energy to attain a certain level of it?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
What do you guys think?
Oh gosh. I think the most femininity in the world is creation. Creating anything, whether it is peace or whether it is children or whether if it's a business, that's our birthright. That's what we're here to do. So I feel like we've come full circle. We're doing the same thing, but we're doing it in a different way and from more authenticity and from a different place.
I think a lot is born from that space where a lot of joy and happiness will come from it than the hustle part, because the hustle
Yeah.
part will burn you out really quickly.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it'll take you a lot to recover from it, because that was my case. It took me a lot to recover from the hustle culture. Even sometimes if I catch myself hustling, I'm like, back it up a little bit, like pull away a little bit, like recalibrate, reset, whatever you need to do, and to get back into your softness, because I know what that space feels like. Whenever I do accomplish goals in that space, I feel better.
Yeah.
Like I'm more happy in that space.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like we've spoken about a lot of your journey, and I could literally sit here all day because I really do just have so many questions, and maybe we will do a part 2. But I feel like there's something to get from each one of those seasons. So I want to ask you, starting with your childhood, what was the biggest lesson that you learned from growing up?
The biggest lesson in my childhood and my upbringing was that I have to be a hero in my own story. Like being a victim wasn't really serving me. It was actually like holding me back from growing and evolving. That would be the biggest thing.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's really easy to make yourself the victim,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when you're going through.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
hard
Why me?
things.
Why
Yeah.
me? Right. And I turned why me into like, I let go of the why me. I dropped the why me and started just like truly building the woman I wanted to become.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
What was the biggest lesson you took from your weight loss journey?
My weight loss journey.
And going from however many pounds you said you were
Yeah.
to quite literally like a bodybuilder
Yeah.
and fitness instructor.
That I can do hard things.
Hmm.
That I can do hard things because a weight loss journey is not easy. And I see that in my girls. So like, if I can do hard things in my career and I can do hard things in every other area, I can do this because I can do hard things.
Another good one.
Yeah.
Which is like, you see how some of like the hardest times
Yeah.
really leave you with like just a different level of knowledge and depth of things that you carry on to the rest of your life.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the biggest lesson you took from building a successful, super successful business and entrepreneurship?
I don't know if I want to call it the biggest lesson, but can I shift it to the biggest assignment that I have in my life?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the lesson would be you learned.
yeah, I am the biggest assignment.
Yeah.
That my business growth and evolution has everything to do with how much I'm developing as a woman as well.
Expand on that a little bit.
The better I become, the better I'm able to pour back into my women, the better I'm able to coach them. The more I heal, the more I'm able to help heal the next person. The more confidence I build within, I'm able to teach them how I got there. So the more I pour into me, the better I can.
The more God can use you
Yes.
to help
Yep.
others be their best selves. The
Yeah.
more you become your best self, the more you can pay it forward.
Yeah.
I love that. What is the biggest lesson you've learned in therapy?
That it was never my fault. Yeah, that it was never my fault, and that I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah.
Do you feel like you carried guilt of it, of what you've been through and
Yeah,
feeling like?
I think naturally you do, because as a child you think that things are your fault and they're treating you this way because you've done something. And so I had to let go of like, Yeah, abandonment and rejection. I thought that if I didn't do this or didn't do that, then I would be in trouble, or I wouldn't be loved, or I would be loved less or cared for less.
How did that abandonment and rejection impact the way you moved in your adult life and things like whether it was your job and dating and friendships?
Tough. Yeah, it was very tough, especially relationships. And I'm not just intimate, but even friendships. It could be the smallest thing. And if I felt left out, it would literally crush me. Like I would feel very alone, very abandoned, very just,
Triggered.
yeah, very triggered. Yeah. And, and especially in relationships as well, like intimate relationships. Definitely.
And how have you seen that shift now that you're healed? Like, what's been some of the biggest changes you notice in yourself when you're dating or in your friendships?
Yeah. It has nothing to do with me, that it's not personal. Right? Going
Back to that, that quote that I can't remember.
Exactly. Yeah, seriously. It's crazy how it literally comes back full circle, but it has nothing to do with me. It's not personal. And that, how they treat me, it has nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with them. Going back to like, they're projecting.
I love that.
I love me, so I don't
Yeah.
like, if you choose to love me, great. If not, it's okay.
And I love that because I feel like I haven't been in the dating game in a while, but I feel like when you haven't been in a dating game and when you like, I could imagine just from like, stories I hear and things like that is like when you start to date, it gets easy to default to like, oh, however their behavior is, like if someone isn't texting someone or whatever the case may be, you start an internal dialogue of,
Yeah.
oh, did I do something wrong or was it me or, whatever, which more so proves, I feel like, the notion of work on yourself before you worry about,
Yeah.
so you can meet that person as a healed version of you. Not all the way healed, because I do feel
Yeah.
like healing is like an ever evolving
for sure.
process, but so that you're not sitting there allowing someone else's behaviors, actions, or lack thereof affect the way that you're viewing yourself or having you doubt yourself or questioning yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But you have to date to be able to you have to date, and not every dating experience going to be a success, but every dating experience is an experience. So like you get to literally experience, you get to learn more about yourself in every dating experience. So that's what I'm not afraid to do. I'm not afraid to date. Although I'm like, I don't know what this is going to come out of. Like I just got out of something, but it taught me a lot about myself, right? This last dating experience taught me to, with this new dating experience that I'm in, to ask all the right questions, to approach things like, being completely open and not afraid, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Like we can't control it, but we can control like how we kind of show up,
Yeah.
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 We can't control how they show up. Again, this season has been an amazing season. I have
love
amazing people around me. So I think those relationships, those friendships, it's setting the tone for any other relationship, because it's kind of like, you better come correct, because my girls are bringing me flowers.
100%.
They're celebrating me on a daily basis. They're affirming me on the things that, they see that they want to affirm or celebrate me on. So it's kind of like your friendships and your environment and your community sets the standard for you.
Sets the standard.
Yeah. So you kind of go into situations like knowing what your standards are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have, as you're because I know you spoke on, you're kind of getting into dating, you're doing, all the things. Do you have like a list of non-negotiables when it comes to dating?
Someone who's not a man of God, someone who is not emotionally available, emotionally intelligent.
So they have to be a man of God. They have to be emotionally.
Yeah. Oh, no, non-negotiable. I'm kind of
like a deal breaker. No, no, I see where you're going with it. Yeah.
Both, like non-negotiables. Someone who's doesn't do any self-work, hasn't done any healing, who's not financially safe and secure within themselves, because that's important for a man. In order for you to feel that way, you can better treat me. Those are the safety, security, and emotionally is like the biggest one.
Yeah. I love that.
If you don't have that, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm deep and I have a lot of depth to me, so you
Yeah.
be able to carry it.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna be a lucky man once you find him.
Thank you.
Thank you for sitting here with me today. I feel like again, this one might need a part two because there are so many layers to your story that really are just like such a beautiful testimony, Gian. And I hope
Thank you.
you take the time, which I know you do, to like reflect and just be proud of yourself, how far you've come and who you are as a person. Like when I say that, I don't even mean the super successful business you have built and you know the accolades and what you've reached financially. I mean truly just like who you've become and evolved into as a woman. So I do have two closing questions for us. The first one being, if little Jiyan was sitting here, what is something that you would want for her to know?
So cliche, but you're going to be okay. Yeah. You're going to be okay, and you're going to have so much love and care all around you. Yeah.
I love that. And the second one, I always close out by asking each guest. So hersatility is this notion of, you know, as women, we're multifaceted, multidimensional. We are all the things, right? And at the end of the day, no matter how many hats we wear, we are still just who you are still Jiyan. I am still Danny. Whether you're Jiyan the trainer, Jiyan the friend, Jiyan the daughter, they're all the same Jiyan.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, what does hersatility mean to you?
Versatility to me is a woman who wears so many hats, but still shows up fully in every area of her life.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you, Jiyan. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for leading with vulnerability. Thank you for sharing your story. I feel like I'm just going to sound like a broken record player saying your testimony really does just inspire me.
Yeah,
And so
thank
I know
you.
that it will inspire others as well. And I'm happy that you came and were comfortable enough to share some of that story with us today. Do you want to leave the viewers with anything that you're working on? Maybe something with Pretty Fit Academy, how they can find you and sign
Yeah.
up? I'll obviously link all of Jiyan and Pretty Fit Academy's social handles in the description below.
Yeah. I think one thing I would leave them with is, I mean, you guys kind of heard about my story, but it's never about where you came from, but it's really about where you're going and how you decide to build that life for yourself. So being a hero in your own story and not being a victim in your own story and showing up every single day as the best version of yourself. You may not think that you're there, but showing up every single day, little by little, even if it means a small piece of your day, you're showing up as that version of yourself. You're leading towards that life that you dream of. And the way you can find me is Pretty Fit J on Instagram. My website is www.prettyfitacademy.com. So yeah, apply and come work with the best.
I love it. Okay, well, you guys heard her. Follow her, sign up with her. Obviously, you'll get so much. The body that you'll get is just a plus. It's just the
Cherry on top.
icing on top, the cherry on top. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Hersatility. If you love this episode, make sure you like, subscribe. We'd love to hear comments if you have any additional questions for Jiyan, because I feel a part two in my heart. I just feel it. So if you have questions, comments, I love to hear all of them. So please make sure you tune in. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.